About 2 weeks ago, I posted a video on the channel about bash scripting. In particular, it was a video about variables, arrays, if then else statements, and I came up with a simple bash script that I wanted to create, and I did it all on video, mistakes and everything, and I came up with this contrived example of a script I wanted to create, and I only got about halfway completed on camera because the video runtime was starting to run really long, so I never completed the script that I originally set out to complete. So today I'm going to revisit that bash script from that video 2 weeks ago, and we're going to go ahead and complete that thing today. Let's get started. So our video from 2 weeks ago, you guys, if you don't remember, was titled Bash Scripting, Variables, Arrays, If, Then, Else. And for kind of a nerdy topic, I mean, bash scripting is kind of nerdy. It's definitely not appealing to the masses. A lot of you guys watched that video, and it was generally kind of well received for a video. I didn't put a ton of planning or anything. I just kind of came up on the fly with this script idea. Let's just do it on camera. Made mistakes and everything on camera. I had to fix those mistakes on camera. Some of you guys were like, well, this is not really very polished kind of video, but I don't like polished kind of videos. I like everything to be kind of raw. And again, I don't mind making mistakes on camera, and then you guys get to see me, fix the mistakes, not keep a calm, level, cool head, and, work through things. So today I wanted to go back to that script we started the other day and actually complete it, because what I did the other day, the idea I got on camera was, well, I created this directory called test. So I'm going to cd into the test directory. By ls, I put 6 subdirectories in the test directory: about, blog, contact forms, merchandise, videos. Imagine this is a website. So imagine this is code for a website. There's these 6 directories in this test directory, and if you cd into any of these directories, for example, a cd into the blog directory and run a ls, there are markdown documents in each of these 6 directories. So my idea on camera for what I thought would be a rather simple bash script to demonstrate things like variables, arrays, if then else, was I wanted to create a dmenu script. For those of you that don't know what dmenu, this is a dmenu script. In this particular script, dmenu is showing me a list of various config files on my system. I could choose one, and it would launch it in my text editor of choice, which is Emacs right now. So that's how dmenu works. And I wanted to do something with dmenu with this. I want a dmenu script that when I launch it, it's going to, instead of showing me these config files, it will show me these 6 directories in my test directory. And then when I choose the directory from dmenu, then dmenu will show me the markdown documents in that directory. And then when I choose the markdown document I want to work with in dmenu, dmenu launches Emacs at that document. So I thought that would be a rather easy script, and I spent almost an hour on camera the other day. So I only got about halfway through the script and I stopped. So we needed to come back and finish this script. So if I cd back into my home directory, because that's where my bash script that we created the other day actually lives on the system, and if I run /new.sh to execute the script, and here is the script, the code actually here in Emacs. I got it zoomed in a little bit so you can read. This is as far as we got the other day. We've got dmenu actually getting us the right list of directories, those 6 directories, and when I choose one, say blog, it launches Emacs at the location of that directory. So Emacs is also a file manager as well as a text editor, so it can actually open up a path to a directory as well as a path to a file. And, if I wanted to, I could open one of these programs here in Emacs, but that's not really what I originally set out to do, because that only works with Emacs. If you happen to be using Vim or some other standard text editor that doesn't also act as a file manager as well, this script is not going to work for you. So let's continue where we left off the other day. The first thing we did the other day was, of course, put the shebang user bin environment bash at the top to declare that this script is a bash script. I showed you how to leave comments. You know, these are just commented lines. They're not executable code. It's not actually read by the script. This is just to leave yourself notes if you want to. And then I created a variable, my directory equals /home/dt/test. This is the directory that has those 6 subdirectories that we want to pipe into dmenu here later. And then I created this variable, options equals, and then I wanted a list of directories. So option equals, and then I wanted bash to basically cd into the test directory, and then run the ls command with the D flag for directories, list only the directories, asterisk slash, give me only the names that end in a slash, because the names that end in a slash in the ls command are directories. Files don't usually end in a slash, right? Or never end in a slash. And then you pipe that into the cut command, -d for delimiter, find the first space, and then grab the first field. Now that's kind of complicated. What this does is it runs this command, cd test, and then it runs the ls command, and I wrote the full path to ls on my system, /bin /ls. It's because just ls by itself is aliased to something different on my machine. So that's why I do that. I know some of you guys were wondering about that the other day. Then asterisk slash, then got to do the pipe symbol, and then cut -d, then in quotes space, find the very first space, and then grab the first field. And if I run that, I forgot to add the and. Let's run that one more time. And that's what that command does. So options equals this right here. That's what that ends up being. That gets us the list that gets piped into dmenu. So then I have a variable called choice. Choice equals echo. Echo means print out. What is it printing out? It's printing out the options array. Everything in the options array, which is all 6 things right here, get printed out, piped into dmenu with the I flag, with the P flag. The P flag is for prompt, and then my directories is the name of the dmenu prompt. If you're wondering what the I flag for dmenu is, I don't actually remember. I think, let me look through here. Dmenu matches items case insensitively. Okay, so it's not case sensitive is what the I. So I knew it was something I always run dmenu with. I always have. It's the I flag. I couldn't remember what it was for though. It's case insensitivity. So if we search, so if I actually run the script, so if I actually go back, run our script here. I'm not in the home directory though. Home and run the script. You see about is lowercase. Well, if I wanted to, I could type, all caps, and it would still return about. If I didn't have the I flag on, that wouldn't be the case. And then where we left off with the script the other day is I did these if, then, else if statements where if choice equals the very first thing in the array, the options array, well, open Emacs at the location of that directory. Or if choice equals the second thing in the options array, open Emacs at that location. Else if for all 6 options. Now, that is not the proper way to do this. I did this because I wanted to show you if, then, else if. But the easy way to do this is, I'm just going to delete all these else if statements, and we should do if choice equals choice, then run Emacs at my directory, the path to my directory, which is the test directory, and instead of array at whatever number, choice. So if choice equals choice, then run Emacs my directory /choice. And no matter what option we choose, that should work. So if I save this document and go back to the terminal and run the script, and say I choose videos from the list, it should open up Emacs at the videos directory, and it does, home/dt test videos, and it opens Emacs in that directory. And then I could choose the markdown document I want to work with, hit enter, it opens up that markdown document also in Emacs. That's kind of cool, but again, that only works with Emacs because Emacs also works as a file directory. What I want to do though is I want to choose the directory in dmenu, and then dmenu also shows me the markdown documents rather than Emacs shows me the markdown documents. So I think the best way to attack this I think we need to create another array, kind of like the options array here, which runs the ls command and grabs the directory names. I need to do another one for grabbing just markdown files from the directories. So I think this is how I want to do it. Since I'm going to have a couple of different arrays, I'm going to name this one something a little more appropriate than just options. I'm going to call it directory options, because I'm also going to have another one listing files later. I'll call that one file options. And then, you know what, I don't really need this anymore for what I'm doing. So directory options, and then instead of choice, you know what, that's really just choices for directories. Later I'm going to have a choice for files as well. So again, let's give this a better, more descriptive name. How about directory choice? And then, of course, we got to rename this to directory options. I think that would work. Of course, then we'd have to rename all of this to directory choice. All right. First, let me make sure that's working before we even write any new code. All I did was just rename some stuff there. But if I just run that, does that actually work? It doesn't, because looks like I misspelled something here. We actually spelled this correctly. Run that one more time. And that works. All right. All right. You got to watch out for the spelling. Now I have directory options and directory choice. I want to create another list, another array, and then another choice of that array for file names. So if I go back to the shell here, I'm going to cd into test and then ls. So the next kind of options array I want to do is I want it to cd into these directories and then run the ls command using a different set of flags. I want it to grab files, not directories. And then I may or may not need to run it through the cut command to filter out some stuff. Let me man ls and check out some of the ls flags. I know I want to use the -a flag for almost all. I don't want to have the implied period and double period, which is period is the alias for our current directory. The double period is the alias for the parent directory. So I know I'm going to have to use that. So let's do /ls. And then what did I say? I was going to use the a flag, -a, and then lowercase p. If I just run that, of course we're not in a directory that actually has files, so that didn't do anything. Let's cd into about, and then run bin /ls, and then with the dash, capital A, lowercase p flags. And that actually lists out the files. But of course it doesn't give us that in a proper vertical list like we really need for this bash script. Let's pipe that into cut again. Cut -d for delimiter, and then a space inside double quotes, and then -f for field 1 for the first field. And let's just run that. No such directory, of course, because we're already in the about directory. So I don't need to run the cd about anymore. All right, and I like that list. That works pretty good. The one problem that this will have, though, right now in this directory, I only have 2 files, and that's all I have in this directory is 2 files. There's no subdirectories. But if I cd into home and I ran that same command, you know, it's going to give me directories. I already know that. So just to be on the safe side, in case I ever do put a directory inside these directories, let's tell it to grep out everything that has a slash, a trailing slash in it. And now it's just files, no directories. I hope that made sense. Let me clear the screen so you can see that command again. I'll talk you through it. So we're running the ls command with these flags. All right, and this should ignore the dot and the dot dot. I don't want those. Then we run it through the cut function, and then we grep out anything that ends in a trailing slash, because everything that ends in a trailing slash is a directory, and in this command I want files only. I think that would work if I cd into test and then cd into about. Let's run that one more time. Yeah, and it works. So now that I figured out the bash command I want to use, I'm actually just going to copy this, and then I'm going to create what I'll do, file options equals $, And then, all right, so I got file options equals that command. Of course, the first thing we need to do before running that command is actually cd into the proper directory. So how I probably want to attack this is I want it to cd into my directory, which is /home/dt/test, but that's not the full path. That just gets us to test. I want one of the 6 subdirectories. So then I need to do my directory and then also right behind it, directory choice, space, and I think that works for file options. Now I'd also need to do file choice and then basically do the same thing, echo into D menu, except instead of getting the directory options, I want to get the file options. So I got file choice, echo, instead of directory options, file options, piped into D menu, and the prompt, instead of saying my directories, I want it to say edit this file. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is this statement here. It's not going to work for us. If directory choice equals directory choice, then there's actually not too much else I don't think we need to do here. I think if I just add file choice at the end of that, so my directory, directory choice, and then file choice, heck, that might be it, guys. I'm going to save that and then go back to the shell here, and let's run cd into the home directory and then run new.sh. And now I've got my 6 directories. If I choose one of these directories, now D menu gives me the markdown documents. And if I choose just any markdown document, it opens that markdown document inside Emacs. Let me close that. So, wow, that's great. Is there anything else we want to do with this script? We're getting really close. I can tell you one thing I wasn't real happy about. Let me run that one more time so you can see when I choose the directories. I don't mind the directories being in a horizontal list. There's only 6 of them. That's kind of clean. But like videos, this videos directory has a couple hundred markdown documents in it, and they're in a horizontal list. You know, I would be scrolling horizontally through the list if I wanted to. Of course, you could always just type a name and find a document, but that would be much easier to read if that was in a vertical list. So for directory options, I'm going to leave that horizontal, but for file options, or excuse me, file choice, I'm going to tell dmenu to please list this vertically. So we've got the P flag for prompt and then edit this file. You know what, before that, I'm going to do -L for list vertically. And then how many lines do I want it to list vertically? Actually show on the screen. 15. Space -P, edit this file. And let me save that and let me rerun the script. And now when I choose a directory, like this videos directory, now it actually lists them in a vertical listing. That is so much easier to read. All right, escape that. And I notice when I escape, it launches Emacs at the directory path. That is some behavior that is unexpected to me. I don't really like that. I wonder if I could add an option to these arrays. Could I have a 7th entry that says quit, as in quit out of dmenu? So I've got directory choice echo equals directory options. You know, that's going to echo out those 6 directory options. But what if I did this right here? So if I do a \n, which is the escape character basically in bash for starting a new line, because the directory options is a list. It's actually a vertical list, even though it prints out horizontally in dmenu. So I need my next option to also be on a new line. So I do \n for new line, quit, just the word quit. That's all I want it to do. And that, I know that may seem a little weird, but if I save that, let's see if that prints out correctly. Yeah, well, I have my 6 directory options, and then, you know, the /n quit, you know, gives me that option right there. And if I hit quit, it asks me to edit what file, because it assumes quit is a directory, and it's trying to find the markdown files in that directory. So that's still not quite there, but at least I have a listing in dmenu for quit. But what do I want quit to do? Well, I probably need to do something with if then, as in if directory choice is quote quit, please do this, like, you know, terminate the program. So I think I could do this. Make an if statement. If directory choice equals quit, all I want it to do is just echo program terminated. You know, it'll give me that in the shell. Else if directory choice equals a legit directory choice, then open up Emacs at the path to that file. Let me save that and see if it works. So if I choose quit, it still asks me to edit this file. There's nothing to edit, but it does echo out program terminated. But it's still running the file options command, the file choice command, and trying to get me to edit a file. It's because I think I need to take these two lines and put them in the else if statement instead of having them outside of the else if statement, right? Because this is stuff that's always going to be run, but I only want the file options and the file choice stuff to be run if directory choice is not quit. You know, I want it in the else if statement. So really, I just want to cut those and paste those inside the else if statement. All right, so I think I pasted that correctly. So you guys can actually, since I've zoomed in a little bit, let me adjust the window sizes here so you can actually see what I did. So I think this will work. Let me save it. Let me run the script. So now I've got my 6 directories. If I choose the quit option, nothing happens. All it does is echo program terminated. That's perfect. But if I choose a real directory, like the blog directory, for example, it asks me what markdown document in that folder do I want to edit. And then if I choose one of the markdown documents, it opens the markdown document inside Emacs. I think this script is completed. I think that's all we needed to do. Just rehashing very quickly because this is actually kind of a neat, kind of powerful script. We did a lot with this script and not a lot of lines of code. I mean, like legit lines of code. There's like 10 or 11 lines of code. It's actually almost twice that long because there's this superfluous stuff, you know, the comments, and then I do have some spacing, but really there's like 10 lines of code to this program. And it CDs into a directory, it grips out all the directories, then you choose a directory, and then it grips out all the files in that directory, gives you a list of that, then you choose the file you want, and it opens it in your text editor of choice, in my case Emacs. But you guys, all you would have to do is, if you don't use Emacs, and instead of execute Emacs client-C, you would execute Vim or Sublime or gedit or Genie or whatever it is you want to use. That's the only options you would have to change. The rest of this should just work. Of course, you'd have to have dmenu installed on the system because this script is to launch something in dmenu. I hope all of that made sense. You guys that have followed me through the first video and through this video, I hope you guys found some of this useful. This was actually kind of neat. I was kind of worried. Again, it was kind of just a random example of something I kind of threw together as far as let's create this bash script to execute a dmenu script, you know, to search through a certain type of file in a subdirectory. Like I said, it was a contrived example. It was just something really for educational purposes. This is not a script I needed to create for any reason. You guys are actually interested in this little test script. I may go ahead and push this to my GitLab page in case any of you guys just want the code for it. I know it's not a lot of code, but it's probably easier for you guys just to pull it down from my GitLab page than trying to read it off a computer screen, or especially you guys that are watching it on a mobile device. Now, before I go, this show was made by Alex, Ansem, Chris, Daniel, David, DJ, Donnie, Dylan, George, Haplo, Corbinian, Lambda, Mitchell, Natek, Rob, Robert, Sean, and Willie. They're the producers of the show, my highest tiered patrons over on Patreon. Without these guys, we wouldn't have been able to complete our bash script today. Show's also brought to you by all those other fine ladies and gentlemen, all those names you see on the screen that help support my work over on Patreon. Again, without each and every one of these folks, the show wouldn't be possible. You'd like to support the channel, please consider doing so. You'll find me at DistroTube over on Patreon. All right, guys. Peace.